unveiling treasures from history, where every coin tells a story. This is Rare Coins.
It's one of the strangest coins in US history, a cent that should not exist the way it does. The 1922 Lincoln cent, a coin struck without a mint mark, yet made only at the Denver Mint. A coin born from worn-out dies, minting chaos and pure chance. And today, one of these odd survivors has sold for $18,600, another for $21,700. One fetched $23,400, and the finest known brought a staggering $27,500 at auction. From 1 cent to over $27,000, that's the magic of the 1922 No-D Lincoln cent. Support our effort, subscribe, like, and share so we can keep uncovering hidden treasures and bring you more stories of coins that changed American history. Now, let's uncover what makes this humble cent so famous and so valuable. The year was 1922. The Philadelphia and San Francisco mints didn't strike any pennies that year. Only the Denver Mint did, producing about 7.1 million Lincoln cents. But the dies, the metal punches used to strike the coins, were so heavily used that many wore out fast. In desperation, the mint tried reusing and polishing damaged dies, and that's when something incredible happened. On one die, the D mint mark was accidentally polished away. When those coins were struck, they looked like they had no mint mark at all. Collectors call these the 1922 No-D cents, and they've been legends ever since. Imagine this. Every cent from 1922 came from Denver, so a 1922 penny without a D mint mark shouldn't even exist. That mystery alone has made it one of the most hunted coins in the entire Lincoln series. A sharp, strong No-D example, known as the strong reverse variety, sold for $18,600. Another nearly flawless piece went for $21,700. One bright red-brown cent graded by PCGS brought $23,400. And the record breaker, a perfectly preserved gem, hit $27,500. Think about that. One of America's smallest coins, born from a mistake now worth more than a luxury watch. But not all 1922 cents without a D are equal. Some were weakly struck, with faded details on Lincoln's face and the reverse lettering. Those are valuable too, but the strong reverse, No-D variety is the true prize. If 1 cent and E pluribus unum on the back look bold and crisp, and there's absolutely no sign of a D on the front, you might be holding something special. Even lower grade 1922. No-D cents can bring $500, $1,000 in worn condition. Mid-grade examples often reach $2,000, $5,000. And gem uncirculated coins, those untouched by time, climb into 5 figures with ease. Now let's talk about the look and feel. Each 1922 Lincoln cent weighs 3.11 grams, made of 95% copper and 5% tin and zinc, the same classic bronze alloy that gives early cents their rich reddish tone. The obverse shows Lincoln's familiar portrait, and the reverse bears the wheat ears. The iconic wheat cent, design used from 1909 to 1958. But the 1922 version has a rougher, hand-struck look. That's because many of the dies were reworked and damaged from overuse. It gives each coin a unique personality. No two are exactly alike. Picture this scene, Denver, 1922. Mint workers racing to meet production goals. Machines running non-stop. Dies breaking, being repaired, polished, reused. And somewhere in that chaos, one die loses its mint mark. A small mistake that no one notices. Until decades later, when collectors discover the truth, a missing letter turns an ordinary cent into a legend. If you're hunting for one today, here's how to check. First, use a magnifier and look carefully below the date. If there's no trace of a D and Lincoln's face and hair are strong, that's a good sign. Flip it over. If the reverse lettering is sharp and clear, it could be the famous strong reverse No-D. But be careful. There are fakes and altered coins out there. Some people try to erase the D, from regular 1922 D cents to trick collectors. The real ones have a specific die look, slightly mushy obverse, crisp reverse and no tool marks around the mint mark area. If you think you found one, never clean it. Cleaning destroys its value instantly. Instead, store it safely and consider sending it to PCGS or NGC for authentication and grading. Only certified examples get top dollar at auction. When it's time to sell, you've got options. For common or lower grades, try eBay or Facebook Marketplace. But for a high-grade 1922 No-D cent, You'll want heritage auctions, Stack's Bowers, or great collections, the platforms where the serious collectors bid big. This coin's story is one of imperfection turned to glory. A simple mistake made under pressure turned a few copper discs into history. It reminds us that even in flaws there's beauty, and sometimes fortune. So next time you're looking through old pennies, check those dates carefully. A worn brown coin from 1922 might look ordinary, but it could be the one without the mint mark, the mysterious no D that collectors dream about. And who knows? Yours might be the next $27,500 discovery waiting to be found. Coins like the 1922 no D, Lincoln cent aren't just metal. They're time machines, carrying the marks, mistakes, and magic of the past. Keep searching, keep learning, and keep your eyes sharp. Because history doesn't always announce itself. Sometimes it hides behind a missing letter and a 1-cent face value. The final year of an American legend. The last of the Lincoln wheat pennies. A design that had been on our coins for nearly 50 years was about to disappear forever. And that farewell gave birth to one of the rarest, most valuable modern cents ever struck. Because a single 1958 penny sold for $1,700, another reached $21,600. One climbed to $23,900, and the record-shattering piece brought a jaw-dropping $26,400 at auction, a 1-cent coin closing out an era, now worth more than a brand new motorcycle. Support our effort, subscribe, like and share so we can keep bringing you stories like this and help you uncover treasures hiding in plain sight. Now let's travel back to the end of the 1950s, time when Elvis ruled the radio, America was racing towards space, and the US Mint was saying goodbye to a beloved design. The 1958 Lincoln wheat penny was the final issue before the Lincoln Memorial Reverse took over in 1959. It was struck at 2 mints, Philadelphia and Denver, with the familiar D, mint mark for Denver and no mark for Philly. Over 252 million came from Philadelphia and a massive 800 million from Denver. Each one weighed 311 grams, made of 95% copper and 5% tin and zinc. That beautiful, rich bronze color collectors still love. But out of those billions of coins, a few came out flawless, fiery red, perfectly struck and without a single blemish. Those are the coins that make history. A brilliant red 1958D, graded MS67 Plus, sold for $17,400. Another Philadelphia piece in blazing color reached $21,600. A third, certified by PCGS as a flawless red gem, hit $23,900. And the record sale, the rare and mysterious 1958 double die obverse, went for $26,400 at heritage auctions. That's right, one tiny cent worth more than $26,000. The doubled die 1958 cent is one of the holy grails of modern coin collecting. Only a few examples are confirmed to exist. Look at Liberty and In God We Trust. The letters appear doubled, bold and clear even without magnification. It's believed that only 3 genuine specimens have ever been authenticated. If you found one, you'd be holding one of the rarest errors in US coinage history. Even regular 1958 wheat pennies can hold strong value in high grades. A stunning MS67 red example might bring $300, $600. And if you're lucky enough to have an MS68 red, the sky's the limit, over $10,000 easily. But the true showstoppers are those double dies and top pop certified pieces that break into the 5-figure club. Now think about the moment this coin was born. The presses at the Philadelphia Mint clattered through 1958's final batches of wheat cents. Designers knew it was the end of an era. The reverse with 2 wheat ears that began in 1909 would soon be replaced. Every cent struck that year carried a quiet sense of farewell. And one of those presses, worn and imperfect, struck a die that created history, a doubled design that slipped through undetected. It's a time capsule of a mistake, preserved in copper for over 6 decades. If you want to search for one, here's where to start. Buy rolls or bags of uncirculated 1958 and 1958D pennies. Use a magnifier under bright white light. Inspect Liberty, In God We Trust, and Lincoln's Eye for clear doubling. Also check for die chips, cracks, or clipped planchets. Even minor errors can be worth $50, $200. Look for rich red color and full detail in Lincoln's hair and beard that indicates a higher grade. Handle your finds carefully. By the edges, never the face. And whatever you do, never clean them. Cleaning ruins the mint surface and turns a valuable coin into pocket change. If you find one that looks perfect or unusual, submit it to PCGS or NGC for grading. These services authenticate coins and confirm the true double die or high grade status that commands top dollar. When it comes to selling, know where your audience is. Common coins? Use eBay or Facebook Marketplace. Rare errors or gem-graded pieces? Send them to Heritage Auctions, Stack's Bowers, or Great Collections, where passionate collectors compete and drive prices into five-figure territory. What makes the 1958 penny special isn't just rarity, it's emotion. It's the final chapter of the classic wheat cent design, a series that started in 1909 to honor Abraham Lincoln's 100th birthday. For half a century, those twin wheat ears stood for growth, hard work, and American resilience. 1958 closed that book, and in doing so, created one of the most iconic collectible coins of the 20th century. So the next time you see a simple brown penny from 1958, don't dismiss it. That tiny piece of copper could hold a story worth thousands. Maybe it's the last of its kind, the perfect strike, or even the elusive double die that collectors dream about. Imagine finding one in an old coin jar, a forgotten roll, or tucked inside a family heirloom, and realizing it's worth $26,400. Coins like these remind us that history isn't just written in books. Sometimes it's stamped in metal, waiting decades for someone curious enough to look closer. So keep searching, keep learning, and never underestimate the power of a penny, because your next handful of change might just hold the final wheat cent that rewrites your story. You've probably seen it 100 times. A shiny new penny with the year 2021 stamped under Lincoln's portrait. Ordinary, right? But what if I told you this little coin, one you might have spent without thinking, has sold for $11,600, another for $13,200, one reached $14,900, and the record-breaking specimen hit a jaw-dropping $17,800. That's right, a modern penny, just a few years old, worth more than a used car. Support our effort, subscribe, like and share so we can keep bringing you amazing coin stories and help you uncover treasures hiding in your own change. Now let's uncover why the 2021 Lincoln Shield penny is quietly becoming one of the most talked about modern coins. The coin was struck at 3 mints: Philadelphia with no mint mark, Denver marked with a D, and San Francisco marked with an S for proof coins. Billions were minted. Over 4.3 billion in Denver alone, 3.9 billion in Philadelphia, and a small fraction of mirror finish proofs in San Francisco. Each one weighs 2.5 grams, made of 97.5% zinc and just a thin 2.5% copper plating. But hidden among those billions are rare perfectionists. Most 2021 pennies are dull, spotted, or covered in tiny scratches within weeks of circulation. But a handful, maybe one in tens of millions, came out blazing red, fully struck and free from any marks. These are the coins that make collectors stop breathing for a second. A flawless 2021 D, penny-graded MS69 red sold for $11,600. Another went for $13,200. A superbly struck Philadelphia cent hit $14,900. And the record sale, a fiery, glowing example with full luster, reached $17,800. All for a coin you could still find in change today. But the story doesn't end there. The 2021 penny has also produced a surprising number of mint errors and varieties, each one a potential jackpot in disguise. Collectors have found die cracks along the shield stripes, worth $5,200. Die chips near Lincoln's mouth, known as cuds, can bring $7,550. More dramatic errors, like off-center strikes or clipped planchets, easily reach $400–700. And the big prize, double die obverse varieties, where Liberty or In God We Trust shows visible doubling. Those can sell for $800 and $2,300, depending on how bold the doubling appears. Even though 2021 feels recent, collectors already consider it a key year for modern pennies. The pandemic disrupted mint production and distribution patterns, making sealed rolls and fresh uncirculated bags harder to find in certain regions. That means finding untouched 2021 coins in brilliant condition is tougher than you'd expect, and that scarcity adds serious collector interest. Now picture this: you're sorting change at your desk, maybe pennies from the grocery store or a coin jar. You see one that shines a little differently. The color is deeper, The details are razor sharp. Lincoln's coat line's crisp under the light. It's a 2021 D penny, flawless to the naked eye. You send it to PCGS for grading, and weeks later it comes back MS69 red. You list it at auction, and it sells for $14,900. That's 1 penny turning into thousands. Not bad for a coin that cost you nothing to find. If you want to search for your own treasure, here's how to do it. Start with rolls of 2021 pennies from your local bank. Use a bright white light and a 10x magnifier. Look for perfect red luster. No spots, no scratches, and sharp detail on Lincoln's beard and the shield's lines. Avoid coins with fingerprints or dull color. Those tiny imperfections can drop the grade and the value fast. Handle potential gems only by the edges and store them in plastic flips or capsules. Never clean them. Cleaning destroys the mint finish and can reduce a $10,000 coin to $1. Once you think you've got a winner, submit it to PCGS or NGC for grading. High-grade modern pennies are extremely competitive, and certification proves its authenticity and condition are the key factors behind those 5-figure prices. When it's time to sell, use the right platform. Common coins, eBay or Facebook Marketplace. Rare errors or top-grade examples. Go straight to heritage auctions, Stax Bowers, or Great Collections, where collectors compete and drive up prices fast. The 2021 penny carries more than just a date. It's a symbol of resilience. Minted in a world still recovering from the pandemic, it represents continuity, strength, and change, just like Lincoln's message from more than a century ago. Even in the smallest coin, history leaves its mark. So next time you get a handful of change, don't overlook that 2021 penny. Check the color, check the strike, and check the mint mark. Because somewhere out there, one of those shiny red coins, the one that looks just a little too perfect, could be the next $17,800 treasure waiting to be found. Coins like these prove that even in a modern age of digital payments, the smallest pieces of metal still hold big stories. And sometimes, even bigger paydays. So keep your eyes sharp, your hands steady, and your curiosity alive, because the next rare find could already be sitting in your pocket.